It's
Pew, pew, pew,
cracking
pew.
in
Okay,
there.
now we gotta go here. Oh wait, did I go here? Nope.
Yep, you're right. Hmm.
Oh, and you're yes, everything is still here.
Yep.
Okay,
Hmm.
never did that before.
You are
Calm
now
down, baby.
listening to Evolve with Nicolette,
Let's
a bad
go.
bitch healing.
You know what I just realized? I didn't even mute.
You're a real pro though. But it was good though. Perfect.
Yay, we are live.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are all the way live from TGN Latinx Studios, y'all. I must say, my nerves have melted away like I knew they were. Because I'm so hype about today's guest. And if only we started recording 10 minutes ago, that shit was gold too. But that's for me to know and for y'all to find out. That's
Yeah.
when the memoir comes out, like that moment I had with Keith. So that when we're looking back in like multi-million dollar homes,
Yeah.
we'll be like, hey, remember that one time?
Hey, speak that. The multi-million dollar homes, dude. Speak that.
Multi,
Speak
like
that. Speak
all
that.
day long.
Talk that shit, Nico.
Like it's not a motherfucking game.
It's not.
Like
It's not a fucking game. It's not a. I watch Mansion Tour. It's like one of my things. Everyone knows. Like
yes.
I spend a lot of time just watching Mansion Tour.
Oh, because you have to be
Just
prepared.
I gotta know what I want.
Yeah.
I gotta make it clear.
Yes.
Anyways,
And the
I don't want to. Yeah, I know. I know. We're gonna go today. I said we already started.
we're gonna go very far.
Yeah.
It's when you hear the words visionary, leader, powerful manifester, goal getter, and phrases like leading by example, very few people can live up to those words, and very few people come to mind when I hear those words. And for me in my personal life, I have like the gurus all day that I could just say who I admire. We were just talking about Les Brown, but for
Man.
people who I actually know, and I actually haven't really had the privilege to have a lot of like time with you. So I'm so glad that I get to be selfish today and have this moment. Because I am sitting next to the future. And he is the CEO and founder of the Good News Radio Network, the host of Top of the Morning podcast, a family man, specifically a girl dad,
Yes, I am.
now a marathon runner.
Yep.
Yep. And he is nothing short of inspirational. Ladies and gentlemen, motherfucking Keith Good News.
Motherfucking Keith Good News. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. This is my first official show on the TGN Line. I'm looking around like I never been. I'm like, damn, look at this. Like this is my first time. So
Isn't that like okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like what sitting here feels like after you built this. Cause that's crazy, right?
Yeah, to me, I built this for y'all. So it's still for me, it's separate. It's still not, it's not mine.
Right.
I don't feel like, oh, this is mine. I don't
Right.
feel like that. I feel like
Right.
this is for y'all.
Right.
So I'm a guest, literally, when I walk in here, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm a guest.
That's dope. I feel like you should claim that, like, nah, this is me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And I
me
know
don't.
I know we got to be humble. I know that part. But
Yeah,
we were just
yeah.
talking about talking that shit.
Talking that shit. I feel that.
So like, I feel like you got to recognize what you like Rome being built.
Okay.
Right?
I rock with that. I think I have a problem with saying me though. I have a problem with that.
It's totally you, and then the complete culture you have built around you.
It's us. It really is us.
And that is something that is super, super dope, because I used to be like that. Well, not used to still. And it's a lot of unlearning, because then you don't want to be outside of it.
Yeah.
Somehow you have to like be like, oh, this is me, and this is what makes it like, this is how we get to the $1 million home.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So that when we get into the $1 million home, we don't realize like, oh, this isn't mine.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah,
I do. I saw an interview with ASAP Ferg, he was talking about Jay-Z's house.
Mm.
And he asked Jay-Z, like, how does it feel to live in this house? He got like a butler and shit. You got to take a cart to the front gate, like serious shit.
I
you
need
know?
to watch that.
And Jay-Z said, I feel like it's not mine. You know, I just can't, I still don't know. I still don't feel like it's mine. You know, so I can imagine that. Maybe it's that same feeling.
Because I feel like, especially, it's so important, especially for us being Black and brown people, like this shit is ours. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's a lot of the unlearning of the systematic bullshit, right? But it's like, no, this is dope. And I'm glad that I'm here. We're popping cherries for the first time.
Yes, we are.
For TGN Latinx, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm so dope. So honored that you get to be here with me. And thank you for doing so, because I heard you, what was it, a week or two ago, saying that like you haven't really been a guest, and your girl understood the assignment.
How you did, and then you invited me right out, you know.
Yeah,
and you started something, because then Never Not Extra invited me too, you know. So I was like, you know, you didn't kind of crack the lid on that thing.
Listen,
I appreciate you.
Like, shout out to Never Not Extra, because Kirsten was one of the reasons, and the love that Moni shows, like, the type of culture that's here, I never felt more at home before.
That's that warms my heart.
And it's something, and I reached out. I remember, because when we were doing like our whole get together, like, you know, making sure I was the right fit to come here, me applying to be part of the network and stuff. Kirsten was like, "Hey girl, just reach out whenever you need help." And I legit, like, because my old programming would be like, "No, it's okay. I don't want to bother you." And I was like, no, she asked me if I needed help to like call her. And same thing with Michael. I reached out to him before. And Jackie, everybody, like, it's super dope to be part of this family. And I'm super, super honored. I do want to say a reminder for anyone who's listening right now to join us on the chat room, be a part of our conversation, hit the 3 lines on the top left of the app and hit chat room. And come and join the conversation, you know, questions, comments, all the things, because this is what makes being part of the Good News Radio Network even more special, is all the live interaction you get. And if you're at work and you can't have your headphones in, you could totally listen or watch us, because we're also on YouTube, on the TGN Latinx channel and the Evolve Nicolette channel, and doing all the things. We look so professional, and I'm here for it.
We look good, man. I'm so happy.
This is so dope.
I'm so happy.
And I mean, let's talk about it, because you've been busy.
I have been.
You've been extremely busy, and I never, I don't know how to explain this. I get addicted to watching people chase their dreams, if that makes sense. When I was younger, it was a lot of like jealousy riddled in that, a lot of like, oh, why not me, or how come them? But once I reframed that, because it's like, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And that makes it attainable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So because some background in case you don't know and you've been living under a rock. The Good News Radio Network consists of 27 podcasts, shows across 3 stations. And I know it's like a loaded question, but if you could sum up the last 5 years or 6 years in one word, what would it be?
Progress.
Oof. I was trying to like predict like what word you would say, and it was like, that's it. And what does that mean to you?
Progress is like it never stops. So like, you know, think about, we opened the Latinx station 3 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, and you told me on Saturday it's old news. And I was like, wait, what? Yeah,
it is. No one, you know, my mentor told me last game starts don't count for this game. I mean, I'm sorry, last game stats don't count for this game. So that always is in my mind. It doesn't matter about what you did, it only matters what you're doing. So you know, I never dwell on anything, because I'm always thinking about progress and how can we get better, because we're not where we want to be. We're on the way. And where we want to be always changes, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I just started manifesting $1 billion company, and that was never a part of the manifestation before. So now that we're there, it's like, okay, that's where we're headed. So we just got to progress until we get there.
That's dope. So like, I kind of want to like go back on that, because you said like you never thought of it as being $1 billion company. So when you had your own show with Jackie, right? So like I know it's hard to
From
like
the beginning?
summarize that. Yeah. Cause like, how did that birth this?
It's just evolution.
Mm.
I'm always willing to change, and I'm never married to anything.
Mm.
I
Open to
understand.
change.
You gotta be like, you
Yeah.
gotta be. And that's just what it is. I'm always willing to change the goal if I have to, if we have to.
Mm.
And that's what it was. The original, the goal was, I saw Howard Stern's salary, and I said, I want that. I don't know if people know how much he makes, but his current contract is 124 million annually. That's his contract with SiriusXM. Yeah. Let that sit in for a minute. 124 million annually.
What? And we were over here
Yes.
tripping on Joe Rogan's, what was it? Or was homegirl from Call Her Daddy 60 milli? Wow.
Yeah. I think Joe Rogan got like 100 mil too.
That's crazy.
But it's not annual. So Howard Stern is the
it's
GOAT.
on a 3-year contract, I think, something like that.
It was for his whole catalog.
Wow.
So when you look at something like that, I said, okay, if I'm 3% as good as he is,
Baby.
we're good.
We're gonna be all right.
So that was the first kind of like real like goal. And then it changed over time because just talking with people and then realizing that there were so many people who wanted to have a voice like I did and didn't know how, because mind you, y'all, this is 2015, 2016. Nobody's really doing podcasts.
No.
It's just coming around,
Yeah. Right.
So,
Even though I feel like everybody has one, but I'm like actually like being consistent and doing the damn thing. That's why I'm like, for me, it was really scary to come. Like, it's an hour and 20 drive for me both ways.
It is. Yeah.
But it was like, do you really want this?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you guys forced me. And actually what I was manifesting previous to even seeing Jackie's thing about like, hey, we're having a new station and blah, blah, blah. I was thinking about like, I need better lighting. I need better microphones. I need like this whole production. And I don't know how to get that. And then boom, that like kind of like, it's like when you ask and like you shall receive.
100%.
That's what that is.
I promise you, every time you need it, if you ask for it, it comes right at the moment you need it too, though. It comes right at the moment you need it.
All the time.
Every time.
Yes. Like within like weeks of me even thinking of it, right? That's why it's like so exciting for me that now the idea of $1 billion company is what's in your mind, because look at everything that you have manifested. Because that's what I was trying to say earlier. I feel like I don't want to like offend people when I do the reframe, but I was like, bro, you are source.
Yes, you are.
Right? Like we are all co-creating with God, the universe, doing all the things. It is not a force outside of you. It is everything that is within you. Because the stars collided in the sky the day that we were all made. Yeah. And the fact is that you have to just embody that or understand that. And I swear to God, magic just starts happening. It's not luck.
No, and you know what? I would say this. Some of it is, but I think luck is what we have all understood. It's it's preparing to be lucky. And I always say you got to put yourself in position to be lucky. You're just not going to sit at home. Like luck is you all have to make luck happen.
Yes.
So there's I attribute a nice amount of luck to how we've gotten where we've gotten, but also being prepared to be lucky.
See, it's also for me, it's just synchronicity. It was just part of the path, and that's where it was just meant. Like everything that we want is already done.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of just you getting there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
And I was saying, like, think about like when people win the lotto, they're lucky, right?
Yeah.
But they got to buy a ticket first.
Yes.
So if you don't put yourself in position to be lucky, you won't win the lotto without buying a ticket. So most people don't buy a ticket to their own situation and trying to, create their own luck. They don't. They just hope something happens, and hope doesn't work.
You got to see it. I'm gonna
tell you that right now.
You got to see it before it even comes to fruition.
And if you don't see it, then feel it and then move towards the feeling.
Yes.
I think that's a huge part too. I often talk about it's dark. Like you don't really know what's going to happen, but just like, a car, you can only see, 60 feet ahead of you, 30 feet ahead of you. If you keep driving, the next 30 feet will be revealed. The next 30 feet will be revealed. So, you just keep going. And you just say, if I catch a flat tire, fuck it, I'll just fix it and keep rolling. Like, that's it.
like really quick, Keith called me like
I tried
30
to-
minutes before the show and he was like, "Hey, I gotta let you know I'm not coming." And I'm like, okay. Like,
She didn't even phase her, man. I was like, man, that shit was weak. I thought she was gonna give me some type of like response, like really or something. She was like, okay, and I was like, damn, well,
all right.
my joke is over. But that's the perfect response though.
And you know what was happening at the same time? I couldn't figure, like, these things were not turning on. Like the board wasn't turning on, and I was like, it's okay, we're gonna figure out why. And I found that it wasn't plugged in over here. This like ended up turning off somehow when I did that, and I was like, we're gonna be in flow, because nothing ever comes from me worrying. And I'm I can't wait to talk about the situation I'm in right now, but not yet, because we're still in there.
All right, we getting there.
But I had I've been in a lot of state of like worry and frustration.
Okay.
But then now, since I've been learning and on this journey of like, what's the reframe, or what am I getting from this, or what's coming up when that's happening, I just end up slowing down more and just be like, what will be will be.
Yes.
And I see where I need to be. So I'm not going to be in resistance and in force. I'm going to keep on flowing. So if it wasn't meant for Keith to come this morning, that's just how it was supposed to be. So like, that's why I try not to let me phase me as much.
And you know, like, you know, I look at situations like, say if you do get like a flat tire, right?
Yeah.
You say, okay, cool. Like you can be mad, or you can say, maybe it's preventing me from getting an accident. Maybe like mistakes are supposed to happen, or whatever the issue that you may feel like is supposed to, you know, maybe it's supposed to be how it's supposed to be for whatever the result is supposed to be. So
yes, for sure.
You kind of just, like you said, you just got to go, just flow with it, man. I think that's what it is. Just roll with the punches.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that difference, because that's why we're always in like frustration mode, or always in like this negativity mindset, because we just can't let go of our attachment of what we thought it would be like, of whatever situation. Shout out to everyone who's like in the chats. We have ladies night. What's up to Mysterious Jax, Hearts, and Camille Torres. Yes, good morning. What's up to y'all watching us on YouTube? Goddess is in here with the multi-millions. Yes, Goddess loaded. Carol Mommy, she says, I really love this live interactive podcast format. And Goddess at progress, baby. And then Mysterious Jack says, I love hearing our story. Baby, tell it. See, over and over again.
And we gotta see, it's a lot of people, we gotta get rich.
Yes.
So if we don't get billions, there's no way.
Right.
Like that's the only answer.
Right. Right. You know,
like, you know, so like I want you to become rich from what we're doing here. Nicolette. So if my goal is not $1 billion, there's no way we can get there.
Listen, and and just a little bit of insight. When I came on the first time to like train in here, that was the day after Call Her Daddy podcast. I forget her name, something Cooper, I forget, but she had just signed a 60 million contract for 3 years. And I never felt something like light a fire under my ass like that before, because it's possible.
Yes, it is.
Right?
It's super possible.
Super possible.
Imagine $500,000 is 60 million is possible.
Yes.
500,000 is possible.
Yes. 600.
So just think about that, you know?
And and just for us talking, like just for us being on a podcast, y'all, like whatever you want and whatever you see, that shit is fucking possible. Yes, and people who have better ideas than you are getting paid on that shit. Yes. Okay.
Say it again. Say it again.
And because one of the things that I walked in that day and I said that, and I was like, you probably don't remember. I didn't say it with enough bass in my chest, tell you the truth. I said that I'm going to be your $60 million contract, like, you know, let's and like going on to Spotify, and the reaction that you had, like, gassed me up even more for that 1 hour drive back home. 'Cause you were like, that's great, because when you tell people where you started, you're going to say the Good News Radio Network. And I was like, yes,
we are a part of the story. And that's the most important. I hope we can write that $60 million contract.
Hell
soon.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really the goal.
Yes.
So, you know, but nevertheless, you know, I just appreciate being a part of the story. That's what we're in it for, you know, being part of the journey.
It's something that listen, and when you're in this type of state, it can be frustrating. Do you have
You ain't lying.
I mean, for someone who's a visionary, right? Like, because I mean, when I was gonna ask you first if you were okay with that headline, I was like, I'm not gonna ask him because he's probably gonna tell me no. So when you read
You think
that,
I was gonna say no? Me?
you're
on.
humble. So I was like, I'm someone who would be like,
With the topic?
come on.
You thought I was gonna say no to that being a topic? Let me tell
I
you.
didn't want it to scare you.
No, let me tell you something. So I've been doing this since 2015.
Yes.
Speak
on it.
I don't know if there's anything I'm afraid to speak on, afraid to talk about. Like my show now is much different than from a show I used to have.
Yeah.
The original Good News Radio show was a variety show. It was structured somewhat like Ladies Night. But it was, you know, it was different, obviously, but it was a variety show. We talked about everything.
And the basement of your dad's house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We talked in the basement of my dad's house. We talked about everything on it. We used to have 3 topics in show. So we
in
talked
1
about
hour.
An hour and a half. We did an hour and a half twice a week. And we were doing that. And you know, like I said, so it's nothing I'm not willing to talk about. I don't care.
It was more of like, I'm like, bro, this is you right here. Like when I watch that's the thing too. I tell people to clean your feed all the time. Your Instagram feed, the things that you consume mindlessly throughout the day, it's not really mindless. So if you're watching people that don't motivate you, that don't inspire you, if your timeline is full of people who you actually talk shit about when they pop up, baby, that like affects your whole frequency throughout the day. So for me, I don't know about y'all, but I am watching people win all day long, even when they're in the trenches working. So it's either from you running in the morning, just like, oh, I need to get my ass on my bike, you know what I mean? Like, or something else, or you guys, you know, putting up the wallpaper up last night. I thought that was super dope because it's like you're watching something be built. And I saw a meme yesterday after all the Instagram and Facebook crashes yesterday. One of the memes that came up was, what's one artist that you've seen them grow from the bottom up? And I had a couple people come up, but I was glad to say that like watching y'all come up has been dope. And it's only been recent, like, you know, like it's only been 3 months, 4 or 5 months for me. Because I was started off as a guest on Ladies Night, you know, having my own show and stuff, but I wasn't a new episode weekly. So for you, what does the end goal look like? Like I came across a post. I did Instagram stalk you. I saw a post that you talked about the year 2025. And what does that date like represent to you?
Man, you know, sometimes I'll be so in the moment, I don't even know what I say. I have to go back and listen or watch it.
So like, what does 5 years look like for you? Because, you know, we summed up progress for the past 6 years. So what does the next 5 look like?
Man, you know, I don't know because all I can say is that I'm just moving with like the progress. So whatever,
you're in it.
Whatever. I just know that I'm gonna be here working. That's all I know. I know that I'm going to continue to push us forward at whatever stage we are in 5 years from now. I expect 5 years from now to move a lot faster than the last 5 years. We literally already have structure for our next station. Yeah, we're already ready to go. Yeah. I said it's really us because without you, there's no culture. There is no TGN Latinx. There isn't that. It doesn't exist literally without your show. So, and without your presence. So you are just as much of a part as anybody else, as myself.
Right.
Nobody cares about what I did. They only care about what's happening now. So, you are here now. So
Right.
you are almost more important than what we did already. Because if somebody come and visits today, they're going to see it from now.
Yeah.
So I think about that, and your, like, don't take your important, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to emphasize how important everybody is, and that's why I treat everyone with such, I guess what's the correct word I want to use, diligence, or I'm always responsive, I'm always there, I'm always,
you are,
because
yes,
because y'all important to this whole thing, so
that's
it's
dope.
like y'all super important. So I'm never bothered. I get a call, I'll always answer, I'll always call back, I'm always willing to help, because I know that y'all are the key to the success of this whole thing. I know that already.
I mean, like, you do make magic, because we had lost like a whole fucking episode of mine, and somehow we were able to get that shit appear.
Man, we can do it, man.
And he's like, hold on,
I got you.
Let me talk to someone real quick. And
Yep.
he's like, boom, we got it. It's fine. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. Because if I was at home and doing the same thing I was doing, not even 7 months ago, that was considered loss. Like, that was done. And what am I gonna, you know what I mean? But these were things that I was asking for. These were things that I was envisioning. I didn't actually envision me being in the studio. So that just shows you, right, that it's sometimes bigger than what you actually think is always going to happen like that. We were talking right before we went live about people like Les Brown. And so who do you, like, in those moments where you feel like, I mean, do you feel those moments? You're human. So like, do you feel those moments where it's like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore? Or like, this is hard?
I've never had the moment where I felt like I didn't want to do it anymore, but I always question myself if I still want to. Luckily, and I'm grateful, my answer is always yes. But I always question myself. I always check my thermostat or thermostat. I always check my thermometer for myself. Like, yo, do you still want to do this? Is this something you're still passionate about? Something you're still into?
Right.
And I'm always like, hell yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I always ask the question. So I've never been in a place where I like feel like, oh, I don't want to do this no more. I did have to switch my mindset though recently.
Yeah.
I used to dwell on things being hard, and I used to actually, I don't know why I would give it so much praise, but now I'm like, no, this shit's easy.
Okay.
It's simple.
It's about perspective.
Easy. Are you kidding me? Look what we're doing.
Yes.
This is easy. This is not hard at all.
I love that, because whatever you say is.
Yes.
So when, I'll hear, because I'll do the same thing. Listen, this is something that I'm in new territory, because it used to always be for me like, oh, fuck, this is hard. Why not me? When is this going to happen? So I'm stuck in that, I don't know, that icky. It was when I was stuck in that icky phase, nothing was ever happening. So when I started to focus on like, no, it can and it will, and then it already is. Now I start to feel like now I'm getting like the luck part, like, oh, you're just lucky, or this is, I'm like, no, dude, like, I don't think you've seen what the first 2 years was like,
Right.
And then especially for you guys, because now it's all like, oh, like this looked like it happened overnight and stuff like that. We're working hard right now, so it looks like an overnight success. Okay. It's not something that we take lightly, and it's something like, it's basically like birthing a whole baby.
Oh, you bet 100%.
So I can't even imagine what that feels like for you, like 3 stations, 27 podcasts. And I remember I was watching you one morning and you said like, there's a lot of people who rely on me. So is there a heaviness there? Like, what does that feel like?
But I'm built for it though. Like I want that. Like, give it to me. I know who I am. Like, I know that's my role. Like, fine. Somebody got to do it. So I believe in myself that much.
That's dope.
And I know what I'm capable of. And I trust myself. I trust the people I surround myself with, because it's very intentional. As you know, you're one of the people that we intentionally surrounded ourselves with. And I think, if you look at the station, you look at all the shows and personalities, you can be like, yo, these are fucking good people. And that's by design. That's not by it's not like it just happened that way. No, that's bullshit. We purposely created this culture,
Yes.
and we pick people who are going to fit that culture and are going to grow and build and grind and work just as we are. So it's all by intention. And if I got people like that I'm working with, even though it's heavy, it feels like I'm willing to take that weight. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that is sick. I need that to simmer for y'all, because it really is the perspective of it.
Mhm.
And I love that, like, you look at it that way, because we're only human. We're not bulletproof.
Nope.
But it's like, it's the way how you keep on progressing. It's the way how your journey is still progressing forward.
Yeah.
Even when you feel like maybe you didn't do anything in 1 week, you waking up in the morning is still you thriving. Because
Yep.
I don't subscribe to me being a survivor of
Mhm.
anything anymore. Because I'm still here, I'm still
like that.
breathing,
I like
I'm
that.
still aging every single day, right? So for me, that's progress.
No, I like
That's
that.
moving forward. That's thriving. So let that simmer, because right now we're gonna go into commercial break.
Yeah.
So don't go
Don't move.
anywhere. This episode is sponsored by LaRousse. LaRousse is created with a community in mind. We are for the most novice consumer to the most experienced artist. We want to continue creating brushes that will help our community amplify their individuality while embodying power, strength, and courage. Our product is designed in California, luxury, handmade, cruelty-free, hypoallergenic, vegan brushes. Softness as soft as your favorite broken-in brush. Check out Miss Rennie, a 14-piece set. She is our highest rated best-selling brush set featuring some of our most popular brushes. She is our most versatile set. Use her to create a simple, no makeup look for a full beat. She is very travel friendly. Her beautiful studded cup keeps your brushes clean while protecting your brush's shape and integrity. Check out LaRousse at laroussebeauty.com and use my code EVOLVE20 for 20% off your purchase. Yeah.
So
That's dope. We
Yeah.
need to, man, I swear to God, there's gonna be a time where you guys are gonna have to be paying for this stuff to listen to us speak. It's coming.
Hey, you know what's interesting? I actually tried to when we dropped this new app. People don't know, like this is our third version of the app over years, and when the point of dropping this one, I was trying to make it a subscription based app.
Okay.
Just couldn't figure it out, and I was like, we about to drop this shit anyway. So but that was one of the things I just didn't force it. It wasn't time. We wasn't ready. And it wasn't supposed to be. So I didn't force it. And I think that we have a better situation right now anyway. So yeah.
That's dope. And listen, the whole thing, the keyword there is forcing. And you might not like this version, but do you know Abraham Hicks? Like, have you listened? Okay.
Esther Hicks, come on, man. You know who I am now. You know who I am.
We had, before we went on air, we had talked about we both have MLM background.
Yeah.
And I told Keith that he reminds me of Les Brown, like when you speak.
And that's an honor.
And not a lot of people know who he is unless you like really have dive deep into like the personal development round, because they're very much older. They were popping in the 80s and 90s. Les Brown is still popping. You can catch him on Clubhouse.
Still
to tell
popping.
you, okay,
still making that bread.
And Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and all the things. So that makes me go into the next point is who. We talked about Les Brown, but who breathes life into you as you breathe life into others? Like, you're the leader of this whole ship. And like you said, like, you're very much available. You pick up the phone, somebody needs your help. Like, who do you turn to when you need that breath of life?
I've chosen really good friends. Like, I have really good friends. Like, I have really good friends. And once again, by design. I'll pick up the phone. I'll call my best friend, Divine.
We're back live again. Let's get into the chat. Maybe that's why it was like, bitch, get back to the chat. You're ignoring them. Okay. So shout out to Lotus Hustle Live. Keith always coming through. It's a consistency for me. I say that all the time. Good news is all about good people. Love my fam. Everybody, I can see everybody coming back up.
Shout out to Danny.
Yeah,
Danny
shout out
starting
to
the show on the 18th.
Oh, yes. And then what's the name of his podcast again? Like plug that for sure.
So Danny has his show, well, his company is called Said. It's a cannabis education show. So make sure y'all pay attention, man. It's the first one on the network, the first of its kind. And I think that's wonderful. He's super educated, been in the industry for years. The man knows what he's talking about. So I just really, really advise people to really check it out. I mean, who don't smoke weed these days or know somebody who smokes weed? But it's not about smoking weed. It's really about the medicinal properties. And I'm not the guy to talk to about it. So I'm going to let Danny do his stuff.
Yeah.
But I just want people to be aware that there's so much other things going on with cannabis. And that's why we have Danny here. And he's going to really set it straight with that. I'm really excited for his show. And especially what he said specifically, like, especially in the, Black and brown community, it's such a negative thing,
Yes,
the way it's looked at. So he's looking to change that perspective, and I'm with it.
Listen, and let's talk about that, because shout out to Said, because and Danny, he's in here. He says commercial sounds on point. Thank you very much. Camille said it already is proper gratitude. Good on you. Yes. All the fires from Danny. Crazy Maria said everyone's having issues. Facebook was down yesterday. Oh my gosh, let me get this over here. Had me thinking I didn't pay my internet bill. No. It's all good. Danny says thank you.
I might show you something too.
Listen, let's get it popping. What are you gonna show me?
I'm about to show. See this the best thing about life.
Yes.
There you go. Look at that. Boom.
Not me having a Mac computer for the last how many months,
never knowing that,
and not knowing anything.
Learn something every day.
Yes. One of the things that drew me to the Good News Network was that it's Black and brown owned.
Yeah, of course.
Because it matters.
It does.
So when we're talking about like Danny and talking about like cannabis education, like that is something like, yes, it needs to be people of color that is talking about these things. Because that, you know what this does? Me being behind the mic, like I already know what type of responsibility I hold. I put that on myself. Not that anybody else does that, but I do it and post pictures. We'll do all the things, because someone else is looking at me and being like, Nico could do it, so can you. And same thing with you, same thing with the whole crew, like everybody doing what they're doing. Like even Jackie's, my first studio experience for Jackie was amazing. Like I really was coming in here like Notorious B.I.G. I was like, what kind of fur coat do I wear? Like, and they're like, bitch, calm down. The studio's warm. So like bring a drink and calm the fuck down.
I don't think we had that video going at that time either.
No. But I had my video, like my husband had to, everybody got to do work around here. So Moose had to do work. And I was like, it was like the biggest moment for me. And because I was like, this one's the first of many. Like it's always going to be that one time that's going to set you off. So like, what's that one time for you that like put that fire under your ass? Like one of the beginning moments where it's like, oh, this is gonna be it.
I think Jackie always brings up this story. So just during the basement years, and we had like 30 people like at my dad's house. Like we kind of was drawing, people wanted to come check us out, just hang out to the show. It was such a fun show we were doing. We would always invite people out, and we were always in the street. So we just made it. The Good News Radio Show was so fun to be around that so many people would start coming. So we had like 30 people in my dad's house. And I was like, yo, we got to get the fuck out of here. And that was the moment that like I knew. And then I remember calling my mom, and my mom early on was so skeptical about what I was doing. She was like, this is what you about to do? And mind you, people don't know, like maybe you do or not, but I have 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. And my mom was
Speak
like,
that shit.
My mom was like, you got all these degrees, like you're not about to go use it? You about to do radio or whatever? I was like, yeah, And she was like kind of getting frustrated with me, actually. So she said, you know what, Keith? Hurry up and try it. like hurry up and see if it's gonna work. So that way you don't waste any more time wondering. Like just
Get to it.
Get to it.
Mm.
And
Shout out to moms.
Believe it or not, it was even though she was saying it out of frustration, it was still kind of like, yo, that's a support. It was just a support of like, hurry up and figure out if it's gonna work or not. You're wasting time debating and wondering, like just get fuck to it.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, it's time, I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah. That's dope. I still am kind of like in those stages with like my parents. My dad is oblivious to what the fuck I'm doing. Okay. Because
Jackie's dad was too though for a
Yeah.
while. Yeah. So, you know, I can imagine.
like, and listen, like this part of the story matters because us being Black and brown people, like you guys know, like you guys could relate to our parents.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You guys
Mhm.
could relate to us being children of those types of parents. Because my mom is shout out to my jefita. She listens now. All of a sudden wants 10% of make believe money.
She want her 10.
You know, we agreed on 7, but she got to do work for it. But like in the very beginning, I must say that my mom was, what is this? Like, what does
Right,
podcasting mean? What does
exactly.
any of this stuff do?
Mhm.
And I held my first in-person workshop. And this was when my podcast was still kind of like hobby mode.
Yeah.
I did it whenever I felt like
Mhm.
it. I never did like notes or anything. It was always off the cuff, and you could
Right.
fucking hear it on those first few episodes. But when I did my first in-person workshop with like 10 people, and man, it was like pulling teeth to get those 10 tickets
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah.
But how proud I was in that moment. But then my photographer was like, my friend Priscilla was like, hey, you got to check on your mom. Your mom's been crying. She was in the
Mhm.
back.
Mm.
And she was crying the whole time. And I was like, wait, what? You know? So this was like a release and renew workshop. It was a women's event and blah, blah, blah. And we were going through some pretty hard topics. But my mom was like, I called her a couple of days later. I was like, hey, Priscilla told me. And she was like, I didn't know you went through all those things, you know, and this whole podcast has been like a whole healing diary for me, basically. And she still wasn't sold. And when I told her, like, I got signed to like a network and stuff, and the first thing was like, are you getting paid? Like,
right. Of
you know,
course,
so it's
of
like,
course.
yeah, duh, right? So it's one of those things, like, it's always like the skepticism, and it's because
Mhm.
they love us.
Yep.
They don't want us to like fail or whatever that may be. At least that's how I'm thinking about it.
And that's what it is. And that's what I know. Like it's my mom. She loves
Right.
me. So she fears more than I do. Naturally,
Mm.
we fear that our kids are
Yeah.
going to get hurt more than they do. Right. So
First
think
of
about
all,
that.
yes.
You know, when I see Cameron or Peyton doing, hey, stop or you hurt yourself, but they don't give a shit. They're like, I'm out
No.
here. You know, so I think that I realize it's that same, it's just afraid of failure, her fear of failure, not mine, you know.
Yes.
And you know, that's what it is. And I'm no bullshit. Like probably not until like this year that my mom started to become comfortable with what I was doing. Like
this year,
like no bullshit. Like,
oh wow,
like no bullshit.
Like what does that comfort look like now? Do you talk about it with her freely?
Yeah, like she used to literally every day, like, okay, well, why don't you just get a full-time job and just, you know, so
Let's do this on the side.
Yeah, and I'm like, Ma, I can't do this on the side. This is like, this is my dream, you know. I got to be all in, you know. And like I said, now she gets it, you know, a lot more. She see it's bigger than me. It's larger than what she expected. So,
right.
But literally not until this year to where she's like, I get what you're doing now.
Right.
You know, she's starting to get more face. She understands there's a podcast industry. She never heard of it before. So, so it was unknown to her. So she's only going to teach what she knows. That's what our parents do. They teach what they know.
Right.
So, and they don't know that, they're like, why are you doing that? I don't know if that works, but I know this works.
Right.
You know, so I always look at it as, you know, it's her fear of me failing. But I don't fear failure. I embrace it. So
that's dope. And it's kind of like what you just said right now. Like when our kids are out there fucking around.
Yeah, we fear they're gonna get hurt. They don't.
Right. They're not feeling that. I wanted to shout you out really quick on something because it put in perspective. And you know, it happens. You're meant to hear what you're supposed to hear. And I went into your podcast on your live on Instagram right in the moment when you were saying, like, you don't build those legacies for your kids.
Yes.
You build them for yourself because who knows if they even want the legacy you built.
Come on.
And it kind of like put me in this like time like warp type thing where it's all like, yeah, I'm not building this for myself because we're parents now.
Mhm.
There's this old paradigm belief where like our life has stopped. It's
Yep.
all about our kids
Yep.
and we're not able to dream anymore. There's no time, right? All these things.
Mhm.
But I say F that all the way.
For real.
Because me saying yes to my dreams is me creating that culture for my sons,
Yep.
right? And creating that generational cycle of wealth and knowledge, right? And I bet that's the same thing like for you. Like when you think of your daughters, like what comes to mind when it like the parallel of your dreams and like them, like what is all of that?
Very simple. I said this. I was talking and I said it one time to somebody, and it changed my own perspective. It's two things that your kids can live with, so they can like your kids can be the reason why you didn't or the reason why you did. That's it.
Yeah.
The end. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Because now most people will say, I didn't do this because I had you. I would have did this if I like. How do you think that feels? And then why would I continue that cycle?
Right.
It's retarded, you know?
Right.
So when do you ever do what you want to do? So, you know, you can look at it perspective, how you view it. Like your kids can be the reason why you didn't do it or the reason why you did do it. I just chose them to be the reason why I did.
Right.
You know, and you know, that's just what it comes down. That was it. I said, I want to do something where I can bring my kids with me. Period. That was it.
And that's dope because my early moments of coming here, which is funny because we're still in the 3 months of it all, right?
Right.
It seems so long ago.
I'm telling you, it's not. I'm telling you.
And then I think you were teaching me, and your youngest was in your arms asleep. You were teaching me something, and your girl was in here, and the youngest, she was asleep in your hands, and I was just like, that's so fucking dope. Yeah. You know, because
by design.
Right. And then I did photo shoots with my friend Priscilla. She had her kids in the stroller. I had mine, and we were like pushing them all over the place and trying to fucking get a good shot and all those things. And it's like, I'm looking at, you know, my two, you know, my nephew, her son, and her daughter, which is Audie's birthday. What's up? Shout out to her. Happy 5-year birthday. And my son, Sonny. And it's just like, you could just see them that their eyes are locked on me, like doing this photo shoot. And it's just like, just for them to see me pursuing what I feel like I need to do with my life is all I need them to really see.
And it's subconscious. Like they don't like. I always ask Peyton because Peyton seen it from literally.
Oh yeah, your oldest.
Beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. And I used to be like, "Hey, what do you think about all this?" You know, I always ask her like, "What do you think?" She'd be like, "I mean, I think it's pretty cool." Like just her approving it, like is everything for me. Like I don't care what nobody fucking says. I care about what she says, and she thinks it's dope. Like she loves my music. I'll keep making music for her till the day I die because she loves it, and I don't really curse in my music, so she can listen to it. So you know, it's just. And then he said, "My daughter thinks I'm famous now." Yeah, and
yes,
and it's so cool, and you are though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Peyton says I'm famous all the time, and I'll be like, "Yep, I sure am." You know what I'm saying? Like she sees me that way. That's all that matters. So. You know, it's just like making your kids proud is like something that has become, but they may not get it like really all now, but like I was like, man, when Peyton gets an adult, she don't really realize what the hell is going on.
Yes.
She's gonna be like, oh, okay, I really get it. She gets it now, but you know, I'm looking forward to that moment too in the future.
Like, you know what's crazy is that like when my kids found out that I have a YouTube channel, they're like, what?
Right.
You know, they're like, oh my God. And they're like, well, how many subscribers do you had? And at that moment, I only had 3. And my son was like, that's crazy, Mom. You got 3, you know, because all their life revolves around is YouTube and all the content they consume. So they're like, they have 1.5 million subscribers, Mom. But like, they know, and what's crazy is that it's even so like they're kind of desensitized to it now because they're like, oh, you're going to the studio today,
of course, you
know. And then I have nieces that were like, she introduced me to like one of her friends at a family party, and she was like, this is my tia Nico, she's famous. And I was like, oh snap, now we're weaponizing this shit.
And that's cool.
That's dope.
It is, right? And it's
so
like,
dope.
It's like shit. Well, like that alone is like, I'm like that shit. That's the reason. Once again, your kids can be the reason why you didn't are the reason why you did.
Oh,
And it comes back
man.
to it, you know.
Listen, and it's that, like, and even for her to say that, like, oh fuck, I need to become famous, because in her eyes, like, I'm
You
already
are.
there.
Right. And so now you gotta
Yeah.
like really step up into this
Holy
shit.
shit, yes.
Because it's like you can't let them down.
No.
Like fuck
No.
that, right?
Yeah, shout out to Adi
Right.
Lara, like, and Elisa Lara, my Lara girls. Listen, Tia Nico's famous
Right,
because,
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
you know what I mean? Like, it's happening. Like, they're already at the, like, it already happened. Like, this
Yes.
is it.
They're
And
already
I'm
there.
here for it. And same thing with my sons. My sons are just like, man, like, mom got 47 subscribers on her YouTube
Mom is the
channel.
shit.
What? Yeah, that's crazy. Or when I got like 13,000 followers on TikTok, they're like, bro, like, they're waiting for the $1 million
Right,
house.
right.
Like,
listen. You don't even have this conversation with Peyton. Because she watches all the videos I watch, and she, you know, and she's
that's dope. Do that with your kids. First
she's
of
always
all.
like, "Are we getting a mansion yet this year?" And I'm like,
Oh.
"Working on it. We're working on it." But she's already
It's on its way.
She has the expectation, and
Yeah.
that's what I love. Like I love the
Yes.
fact that I've set that mentality for her. It's not something that's like a fairy tale. It's like, no, we just kind of like waiting for it to.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time, and,
Right.
and she knows that now. So
Yeah.
you know, it strengthens everything. You know, so once again, like your kids can be the reason why you did or the reason why you didn't.
Bro, and the way how that affects like generations after us.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not passing down generational trauma anymore.
No.
Okay, generational beliefs and dreams is what the fuck we're passing on for real shit.
Nobody ever, like, for me, it was never embedded in me to like become wealthy. That was never like something that
was a crapshoot.
Yeah. Right. No, that was but you know, my dad, I would give my dad a lot of credit as well. My dad always told me two things. One, keep your credit right. I mean, it's not like 12. He's telling me about credit.
That's
so
dope.
I give him a lot of credit for that because most people don't hear about that.
No.
And then he always told me, said, find something you want to do. Like find something you want to do.
That's dope, man.
So, and that was like the two things he really pressed on, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom, you think I'm a go-getter, man, my mom is the GOAT. Like I've seen my mom come out of like the projects, dude, like, and really, like my mom is retired. She has a big ass house. She travels around the world all the time. I'm retired at 45 or 47 or something.
I love that.
And she's just living her damn life.
Fuck,
you know?
yeah.
Paid in the shade. Like, so
yes.
like, you know, and coming from where she come from, she used to always tell me when I was little, I just want to be a housewife and travel, you know, but she worked super fucking hard to get that.
Yeah.
And just seeing her grind, even when I was young, she went to college, she took me with her. Like my mom is the fucking GOAT. And I think I get a lot of my my drive from her for sure.
I bet. And listen, and it's so important the way how you just described those two very important people, very, very big pillars in your life. Obviously, your mom and your dad, the way how they gave you breath.
Yeah.
And then the way how they breath life into you.
Yeah.
And what that has manifested into now. It is so important because there's so many, you know, and there's times where I have been guilty of that, right? Where I have, you know, breath and fear into my sons or whatever it is. But how important it is to like the trajectory to you to like do that for them and instill that. And like that's super dope. Shout out to the chats because they're popping. Let's go up here. Camille says, yeah, exactly. The constant code switch is exhausting. So excited to listen to a relatable perspective. Also, parents don't have the awareness that you can be successful branching out on your own. And my parents really didn't get to see that demonstrated by people of
Especially
color.
when it was coming up, it wasn't available. You know, so you got to think their perspective is shaped by their time, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it wasn't available to them like it is to us now.
Shit, and our parents, like, you know, they were in the dawn of like the radio even becoming like TV. Holy shit. Elvis couldn't even shake his hips, girl. Like we're in a whole new dimension.
Real talk.
You know, Lotus Hustle says she was on an early episode.
She's talking about Peyton.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
what Danny says, this is dope to have our kids in the same space while we work. My daughter thinks I'm famous now. Yes, like for real, y'all. Like we got to keep on striving for them. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously for you at the
Mhm.
center of that, because all of that out, overflows onto your kids. And just the way how we talk about how our kids are so matter of fact about it, that's fucking dope. And we're
Yeah.
doing the fucking work with them. So we're getting close to the time, but I ain't tripping because I got the boss in here.
We in here.
Okay. I usually do like a Tuesday download where I usually break down a thought or a thought to be inspirational or motivational to leave you with that tone. But I mean, I have the man of the top of the morning podcast up in here. Okay. I would love to hear your thoughts on how to be accountable to your dreams and what has that looked like for you? Because you sure as hell have been. And to set us off like that, baby, because I mean, I got the man in here, might as well have him speak on it, talk that shit.
Yeah. So you said, how do you stay accountable
Like, yeah,
for your dreams?
like you being accountable to your dreams, and you've talked a lot about that throughout this
Yeah.
whole episode.
I want to reference a book,
Mm.
Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And in that book, he talks about how the devil uses things to not to like the devil is not in that book. It's not evil. It's not using evil
No,
to do
it's
things.
the idea.
It's actually
Yeah.
using things that you enjoy. You know, if you enjoy sex, he'll entice you with sex. If you enjoy
Mm.
money, he'll entice you with money. If you enjoy food, entice you with food. It's entice you with whatever you like
Mhm.
to get you off your track. So I think it's very important to make sure that you're not drifting. And drifting means it's kind of like a leaf in the wind, a piece
Yeah.
of paper. It's just flowing, whatever the wind takes it, that's where
Right.
it's going to fall. It's no direction, there's no intention.
Mhm.
So I think that when you have a goal, you're never drifting. And then also, no one can entice you with the carrot. So if you're going left or if you're going straight and there's a dangling carrot, you don't veer off the path to get that carrot because
Right.
you're going towards your goal. So I think keeping yourself accountable is saying no to opportunities.
Hell yes.
Yeah, saying no to things, and finding out, saying yes to the right things. I think oftentimes we put our goal on the shelf because it's not happening now,
or
and
the
then
money's not right.
the money,
or whatever. Yeah.
whatever. It's just not now, so we put it on the
Mm.
shelf, and then we say we'll get back to it.
Right.
But you don't realize that time, that experience you're supposed to have of maybe not making money off of it, or
Right.
not, like, that's part of the experience you need to have to make the goal happen.
Mm.
So I think, ultimately just don't drift away from your goal. Like, just
Yes.
stay. I know sometimes it's hard, y'all. I know sometimes you say, oh, I want to go and do, man, I need the money though,
Yes.
something that I did, I would say, just to pertain to that particularly, I had gotten a job at KBC, which is a talk radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I had a master's degree at this time. I took it off my resume to get that job. I took that job. Mind you, I was making way more substitute teaching. I was making $13 an hour there. I was so happy just to be in this space.
Okay.
And I remember telling myself, if there's ever a moment where I need to go to this job and make 60 or go to my other job and make 175 a day,
Yeah.
I'm still going to go make that 60.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that decision to make less money because I know it's in line with my goal.
Oh.
So I always make that decision. I always choose my goal first, even when it's difficult. I just know that I choose my goal always first, always.
Oh.
And that's just it.
Oh my God. That's like the download I fucking needed to hear. When you make those types of decisions, like the one that you just talked about, when you're in alignment like that, and when you choose the one that even feels just a little bit scary, because it's like, fuck, my family could use this 175, right? Especially when you have kids to feed. The drive is a little bit more. There's a zing to that shit,
Yes, it is.
But when you choose that other one where it's like that path where it's like, oh, we got to work a little bit, but it's like I could see the end to that.
Yes.
That's trust.
Yeah.
like I don't think people understand. Like the more you trust in your path and the more you trust in the way how you stay accountable to your dreams is choosing it over and
Just keep
over and
choosing.
over again, and not like selling yourself out to like whether it is the not necessarily like the money, but like to opportunities where you have to do something that you just truly don't want to, or
Yep.
like you're forcing, right?
Mhm.
Because there was actually a brand opportunity for me that I actually stopped because it was just like, yeah, I'm getting free clothes, but it
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the path that I'm trying to be on.
Yep.
So the amount of time I'm wasting on making this content, I'm not making it for the content I actually want to make.
You know, Shaq said something really dope when I was asking about a sponsorship with he was never on the Wheaties box. And I was like, why you never was on Wheaties? They approached you. He said, because I don't
Oh, I
eat Wheaties.
saw that.
I don't eat Wheaties. He said, but Frosted Flakes, I eat Frosted Flakes.
Mhm.
And now he has a Frosted Flakes, you know,
Yes.
sponsorship after he get out of the league. But this is during the league.
Yes.
So I don't eat Wheaties. So he would just stand true to himself, you know. And
Yeah.
I think, like, once again, don't go for the dangling carrot.
Yeah.
It would throw you off your path. That
Yes.
fucking dangling carrot would throw you off.
Man.
So just stick to what it is you want. And I think most people find themselves drifting because they may not have a goal or they may not made a decision
Right.
yet. But once a decision is made, it's always made.
Yeah.
It's always done.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to just trust in that shit. You got to trust.
Oh man, faith is so I'm right now, right? People think that I got it figured out.
The biggest currency.
Yeah, and people think that we got it all figured out right now.
Right.
Like, and we tell people all the time when they come here, yo, this is not built. We're still building.
Yes.
So there's gonna be a lot of shit we don't know. There's gonna be a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
figuring
a lot of
it out as we go.
We still figuring it out. And I know on the outside for people, it looks like we got it all together.
Yeah.
But we're fucking moving around spinning these plates, you know, to make sure they all keep spinning.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm still right now. We just got a whole new fucking office. You know, our overhead is doubled. You know what I mean? But fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
Because we're gonna figure it out. The money's gonna come from somewhere.
That's the next step.
We're gonna always be provided for.
And that's the next step.
Yes.
So fucking take it.
Like it's not. And here's the thing is that I used to be like 2 years ago, it would always be like, I don't know how. But that's the thing is that when you let go of the how, and you figure, like, you just focus on what you see, I promise you the shit just starts to align, right? The more that you trust, the more that you keep on seeing, and it's kind of like having like tunnel vision, really.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's exactly what it's like.
Yes.
Do you fuck with Kevin Trudeau?
No, who's that?
Your wish is your command. I got some shit for you, my friend. No, real shit. Like, this shit is life changing. What you just said about how, like, you don't know how. Like, I'm gonna. It's now the audio is like, it's like fucking 6 hours. It's like a 3-day.
I'm down.
But you get. I mean, it's one of the most impactful things that I've ever listened to.
Right.
And one of the big parts, it was like stop worrying about the how. The how fucks you up.
It does.
Don't worry about the how. The how will reveal itself when it's time. And he used the example of a radar. You can only see so much on that radar. So, you know, as you keep moving, more things on the radar come, you know, there's things that are coming that you don't see yet because it's not in your radar.
Right.
But it is coming.
Oh, fuck.
You know?
Yes.
So keep your radar on him, and then you'll see it in your radar. But if you cut it off because you don't think it's happening, you don't see anything, you're going to fucking miss it.
And that's what people do, is that they pull the plug on it so fast. Yep. They pull because we're such an instant gratification type society. And listen, I'm a motherfucking Virgo, bitch. Like, I am instant gratification all day long. We got people to feed, we got things to buy. Like, I got things to do.
It's still ASAP. I'll tell everybody. Everything, like, don't get it fucked up. Everything is ASAP all the time.
We're not out here not working and just sitting around.
No.
It's inspired action. Like, it literally is focusing on the things that are going to get you there. And that's when you start to realize, because what I've been talking about a lot in the last like 2 months is like, I've been doing less, but making so much more.
Yep.
When I thought about
less is more.
Listen, and when I talked about Nico Fest, I was like, who in the fuck has the audacity to call something after herself? I was like, me.
Yep.
Like,
and I thought that was so fucking dope.
Like, it's something. That's why I was all like, I hope you like. That's why I was like, I hope you receive visionary, like visions with the visionary, because I was like, because that's how the fuck like you claim that shit. That's when the big things start to roll into your life, when you trust that shit and like release the how. Focus on the feeling. Like we talked about when we you know, like
say that shit.
When we talked about like when we first got right before we went live, we were talking about like our MLM experience and
Mhm.
how important it is to like be invested in your personal
Yeah.
development.
Oh my
And
God.
listen, I'm in a space right now where it's like I really wanted to be a part of this coaching program, but she's, you know, I'm at that level now. I'm at the with the gurus who are at like $4,000, like, you know, in the 4-figure type commitment. And it's like, it's okay because that's just not a part of my path right now.
This is not.
And I'm going to be able to get into those things when the time is right for me to do so. I'm not, my focus is not supposed to be on that coaching program right now. Right.
You gotta, it's somewhere else you gotta grow in.
It's the flow of it. And you have to understand, like, when you're trying to fit the puzzle piece into the fucking spot that it's not for it, you're just, that's where you're running into the walls for that shit.
Of course. There's no such thing as wrong or right. It just is.
Yes.
You know, and that's just what, that's what it comes down. It just is. Like, that's it. It just is. Like, some shit doesn't go right. Fuck it. We just, we going this way. We can't go this way. Fuck it. Like, fuck it is the mentality, honestly. Like, fuck it.
Right.
Like, I'm honestly, like, we're gonna die. So, like, I look at this and this is kind of like my, I guess my biggest analogy. Like, life, you're playing with house money. And so that means when you're playing with house money, that means when you walk out the casino, that shit got to stay there.
Yeah.
So you got to play it here.
Yes.
Life, you got to play it here. You got to use all of it here because you don't leave with none of this shit. So if you plan to save, well, I'm going to save, like, what are you saving all this energy for? What are you saving all your money? Like, when you die, that shit got to stay here.
Right.
So use it while you're here. You know, use all of it. It's house money.
Right.
So use that shit.
And when when you were just saying that right now, I've been a housewife for I'm going on 10 years now. My son's 10. And there's going to be a time where that label is going to stop because they're not going to be babies for so long. Right. So it's all like, what other things am I doing to progress forward for like what I want to do? Like, what life is short, right? Like, the time is right now. So what other time I'll be so unhappy doing everything that's but this, right? Because I'm in alignment with it right now. That's what I want to do right now. So, man, I'm just so thankful. I hope you guys had a pen and paper out throughout this whole thing.
Man, I enjoyed this shit.
This was super, super dope. Camille says, right, I think my parents thought it was game when I was in the news, when they came to my school. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's dope. Shout out to you. This is exactly what I needed to hear. Goddess Lotus says, baby, like, everything is working.
Baby.
Everything is fucking working. And there is moments of frustration. There is the moments of fucking worry. But where the fucking magic is when you trust. You're trusting in that shit, not forcing anything. Okay. Because even I heard today on the way here, I heard a Abraham Hicks rampage where she said procrastination is just you not being in alignment with what you want anyways.
Ooh,
so you gotta focus on, like, why are you procrastinating on that? Because you know how there are those moments where it's like, I should be doing this, and then one day out of the blue, like, okay, I'm gonna do it today. It just was real. It was just a part of that path.
It really is. And you know, I will leave y'all with this, something that actually changed my life. I listened to a book called Conversations with God. I don't know if y'all ever checked that out, but that's another, oh my God, it's so many. But I mean, we can get into this book conversation all day, but
yes,
in that book, one particular thing, this is what allowed me to actually realize that I was in control. It said, life is not about finding out who you are. It's about deciding who you want to become.
Oof.
And when I heard that, I said, oh shit, like, I can choose.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. Like, that's what life is, about deciding. So choose who you want to be and become that person. That's it. Yeah. The end. That's all I got.
That's all we got for today, y'all. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you didn't get no motherfucking gems, if you don't want to be a fucking marathon runner right now, I don't know what else to tell you, man. You got to do that work. And listen, where can we find you at? What events are coming up? Let us know all the details about you. Because like I said, you got to curate your feed to the people who actually want to like emulate, people who inspire you. And Keith is one of those people you need on your stories on Instagram. I appreciate that. Okay.
You can follow me at Keith Good News. I do a lot of running, and I think a large part of the reason why I do that is because I wanted to apply the discipline in other areas of my life and prove that I am who I am, say I am. So if I can, how you do anything, how you do everything. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can apply discipline to something that I really don't want to do. Like, I hate it to run, so I got to do that. You know, so it's just, beating my greatest demon in attacking it. Or it's a book called Eat the Frog, if you ever heard of it. It's just talks about doing the hardest thing you have to do first. And anyways, yeah, just follow me at Keep Good News and do the hard things so they become easy. And that's what I practice, and that's why I run, because it's hard and now it's easy.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to hear this shit back on my ride back home, because it's going to make me get on the motherfucking bike. Because how you do anything is the way how you do everything. That is dope. And we're going to leave it fucking there. Shout out to everybody who joined us on the YouTube channels. Shout out to TJ and Latinx YouTube channel, Evolve with Nicolette YouTube channel, everybody who's been listening on the Good News Radio Network.
Hold on. I don't know if people know. I don't know if you said it. You may have said on the show that I missed, but I don't know if y'all know that Nicolette is leading the entire fucking network in numbers as far as unique accounts listened. She is killing the fucking game. If you still sleep, I don't know how you sleep, but if you still sleep, well, y'all not sleep because y'all tapped in, but you need to tell everybody what we're doing here. And Nicolette specifically is leading all 3 stations. Hear what I'm saying, y'all? Even my show.
That's crazy. I feel so outside of me.
All 3 stations she's leading with the highest listener count across all 3 stations. I just want to say, I don't know if you know how big that is. That's 3 fucking stations and you are number 1.
That's crazy.
Okay. I just think that is amazing. Major kudos to you. Some people would think, why would she do a show on Tuesday at 10:30? Because she does what the fuck she wants. One, and obviously it was a good choice. So, shout out to you, because that is a huge feat. And I don't want to just kind of past that. That is fucking phenomenal. And I just want to give you flowers.
Thank you. You know what it is? You gave me the dose that I gave you earlier for this feels outside of me, and it's like, but it's not, that's dope. Yeah, I appreciate you. It really, when you guys told me that the second time around, that was something that was out of this world for me, and it's super dope, and it really is, in fact, of everybody who's listening to my voice right now in this moment. It is definitely not something that is just me. It is definitely something that is all us.
Yeah.
And shout out to Keith and Jackie and to the whole team who interviewed me that day, and we're like, oh, yep, it's yours. Yeah, go ahead. For y'all seeing me what I didn't see. I knew that this was something I wanted to be a part of, but I didn't understand the vision of it yet. And it's something that I have to say yes to every single day.
Yep.
And when I told you on Saturday, I'm feeling kind of not stuck, but I'm feeling kind of weird. And he's like, well, keep it funky, and now let's do a live show. And
Yep. Oh, are you feeling down? Cool. Let's take it up a notch. Honestly, when you're feeling down, take it up a notch.
Yeah.
When you feeling damn, what's happened? Take it up a notch. Push yourself even further.
And I am understanding the assignment. So sometime this month, we're gonna be doing a live motherfucking
Evolve
show.
with Nicolette live, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all don't miss it.
Listen, and I am just so thankful. We went all the way over, but it is okay because Keith is here. Shout out to everybody and all the love. I appreciate you for so much for doing this with me today. There's gonna be a part 2. There's gonna be a part 3, part 4. I am so thankful for you. And
come back whenever you have me.
Listen, and just thank you so much for having that dream and having that light that fire under your ass with that moment with your mom, all of that, starting in the basement, because that's what gave birth to all of this. And that's the reason why I get to sit in this chair today.
Oh man.
Listen, it's so super dope. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will be back next Tuesday, same time, same place, only here on the Good News Radio Network, live from the TJ and Latinx studio, y'all. Bye.
Peace out.
Yay. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Gotta end the broadcast.